two, one. Boost ignition and liftoff. And all systems are go.
Welcome to the Lesbo and The Bean universe. Lesbo and The Bean. LaTB, LaTB, where mixed martial arts and the UFC get silly. Big silly. Buckle up and move your tray tables to their upright position. And please, somebody shut that baby up. It's time for Lesbo and The Bean.
So, we have a 13-card bout coming out of Boise, Idaho. Main event being Junior Dos Santos versus debuting Ivanov. Either way, this is going to be at elevation. We do have to worry about that. The commission is, we don't have too many bouts in Boise, but from what I remember, they've been keeping it up for...
Boise, Idaho's high?
Am I wrong with that?
I don't know. I mean, maybe Idaho is in general. It seems deep into the country, but I just...
The Rockies pass through Idaho. A lot of people...
Oh, boy. You know what? Honestly, I was thinking of Ohio.
Ohio. A little different. A little flatter. For sure. I mean... Idaho's right next to that.
Boise.
Yeah. Is that Mormon? Is that Mormon land?
That's Utah.
Oh, that is
Utah.
It
probably is all up through there.
But I think Boise specifically has some sort of Mormon ties as well.
LDS.
That's what I'm saying.
I thought you said LDH.
LLDS.
I don't know if Boise is that high, but I know it's in the... I'll look it up.
So, the fact that we have to worry about the commission as well is because starting off from the bottom of the top, we had a rescheduled bout that ended up falling out of that New York commission, which we usually love to hate here at LaTB. And we have the beginning fight of the night on Fight Pass. This is going to go to FS1 all night long, free on Fox. We have Jody Escobar versus Jessica, the Chap Lips Aguilar. We broke this down already a couple fight cards ago. Don't have to go too heavy in, especially because it's the fight of the night. You know, here at LaTB, we like to stay away, and this hits all the criteria for that reason. I'm not going to put this on my DK anywhere. Just saying, last weekend cashed out a little bit. If you're following LaTB, you're making some money because there wasn't anywhere that I didn't profit wherever I tend to do my degenerate betting. Escobar, again, better wrestler, younger.
Kind of, it's 27:30. So it's
27:30.
Yeah, so it's like a half mile. Less than a half mile?
It ain't sea level. That's the damn shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
It ain't no sea level. All right, good to know. So I'm going with Escobar decision. If not, I can see a finish in the later rounds. Aguilar was top prospect early on in the female division. I don't think that's going to happen anymore for her. Who do you end up having for this fight starting the night?
I'm going to stay away from it altogether. The odds. Now I got to open it back up. I was all into Boise, Idaho.
Oh, real quick, as you're getting that one, Jody Escobar, 8,300 for 7,900 for Aguilar. Again, staying away from those odds. There's so much more money to be made.
It really is so ugly everywhere. I'm going to go with Aguilar only because in life... Man, what an ugly.
Yeah, it's a dirty ass fight. Dirty split, written all over it.
Now, I'm going to go with Escobar, and the only reason is because 8 months ago she made it to decision with KK. So that's the best thing either girls have going for me as of late. As of late. So,
the betting odds minus 105 for Aguilar. You're going with the underdog. I got a plus 105, for you. I got a minus 125 for Escobar, slight favorite there. We do have all the lines out actually this week. So, on to Mark De La Rosa versus Elias debuting Garcia. This fight is going to be at the bantamweight division. 9-1, De La Rosa lost his debut in the UFC 6 months ago against Tim Elliott submission. Coming in against, I feel like, a top 5, top 10 contender immediately. Doesn't look that bad at all. Against the debuting submission fighter, Elias Garcia really likes to go in for the takedown. He is 5-0 right now. Has good fight IQ because he comes in. The fights I did watch, the game plan was set and solid for it, but the competition, again, being so low. De La Rosa has had a match against a very high-level opponent. I think De La Rosa's wits are going to be about him a little bit better on the ground. He was exploited by Elliott, but I didn't see anything in Garcia's game that was that amazing on the ground. Again, it was all that competition level. I got a dirty-ass split fight. I think there's going to be a grinding up and down. They both are very alike. The submission game, I think, neutralizes each other, and this is going to go to decision. De La Rosa, for me. Who are you picking in this one?
I agree with everything there, and I just think the decision, the close-ass, ugly split is going to go the other way. There could be a lot of reversals. Sometimes those don't get scored right. I think both guys are low-scoring coming out of this because I think they neutralize each other everywhere. I just like the underdog. I like Rufus Sport. I like his camp better. That's it.
So
take it for what it is.
The underdog right now is De La Rosa at a plus 120 against the debuting Elias Garcia's minus 140. So we both have an underdog. I got the favorite.
Oh, you got Garcia?
No. Oh, okay. So the favorite all the way around is Garcia.
Oh, yeah. I got the favorite then.
8,600 on DraftKings for Garcia against 7,600 for
I probably won't put him too many places, though, for 8,600. No, I'm not going to put him anywhere. I don't think this is a high-scoring fight.
I agree. I think there's a decision and not a high-scoring fight at all on DraftKings-wise. Even the betting lines, there's money to be made in other spots other than that one. Then we go to the 125-pound division. Former title contender Liz Carmouche against Jennifer, debuting Maya. We're going to have debuts all the way around. The 15-4 fighter is coming off of a long winning streak, coming out of the Invicta scene, winning her last decision 7 months ago against Liz Carmouche, coming off of a loss, 2-fight winning streak before that against Alexis Davis, split decision 6 months ago. Prior to that, she beat Chukagian in a split and Lauren Murphy. Carmouche gets a lot of splits, has power, good wrestling, good submission game. We've always said it. She's just always outgrown her camp. She's been out above her camp for a long time, but always fights to the potential of her opponent. She can get Ronda Rousey's back and make it a dogfight, but she'll lose that. She also does that in a lot of other fights where she will almost win and then gas out. Usually her gas tank is what really fails her. Maya didn't watch too much.
The most exciting thing about that fight was just that you said Ronda Rousey in the breakdown and just threw it in just like a fight. Like, we didn't talk about her in some way of like, here's what she, like Connor.
It was just
like,
name value.
Just boom. It was just this is just value. What she did.
Yep. That's why people are so high on Carmouche still to this day. But against the kickboxer, I think this is going to end up being a dirty-ass split. They're going to keep it standing. Carmouche is the one who's going to take her down. If there is a takedown on the ground, I do give the advantage to Carmouche. But like I said, low fight IQ, low gas tank for Carmouche. She can get her shot stuff really easy in the second and third round. I'm going to go with Carmouche decision, but again, stay away. Dirty-ass split on the horizon.
I think another dirty split. I think if Carmouche can get her down in the first round, by the end of the first round, she's going to hold it down all three of the rounds. It's going to be very boring, very low scoring. Neither woman I'm going to do anything with. I think Liz Carmouche could get teeped kicked in her soft body by this kicker.
Great call.
I could see that, but I really have Liz just pulling it out here in another boring split decision. It could be a rough night of fights, everyone.
We're good. That's what I was about to comment on. I'm like, oh, we have like 2 or 3 splits already and decisions. This might be a long one. You might want to have some other extra projects going on.
Yeah.
We're going to have some decisions coming down the line. The favorite, minus 125, Liz Carmouche against the debuting Jennifer Maya at plus 105. All these odds are also so close together. We're not the only ones seeing this. Then we're going to move to the featherweight division, 145 pounds. We have I can't say it because it's... is it a dirty-ass double debut contender series decision? I don't know if it was turned over, but Kurt Holbread, how do you pronounce that? Against Holaba against
Holaba
Barsolas. Holaba lost his fight in the contender series via this TKO, but it was overturned somehow against Bassett 11 months ago. He's getting a shot. Really interesting that a loser off of the contender series. Or did he beat Matt Bassett and probably pop for weed or something like that? Either way, the 31-year-old coming in against the 33-year-old, 11-1 Barsolas, 17-4 for Holaba. Hollabaugh has good striking. Is a Gracie Baja out of Louisiana. The Valley Tudo Brazilian fighter definitely likes to get it to the ground as well. We haven't seen enough from both of these guys with their gas tanks. We haven't seen their competitions level at the highest. Hollabaugh does have a bit better going in there against Bassett and being able to finish him in there. I do think that the takedowns for Barcelos are a lot of those jiu-jitsu style takedowns. They just aren't. They're more pull you down than anything. So I think the takedown defense is where this is going to matter. Hollabaugh has a takedown defense to keep this striking, and I think he picks him apart. I see this as a decision as well. I'm going to go with Hollabaugh, but I'm going to probably stay away from this one on my DraftKings. Did I tell you real quick, Liz Carmouche 2 against Jennifer Maia, 8,000 on DraftKings? That doesn't matter, though.
It might matter if all these splits are coming in. I might go with a name I know. Go with the devil you know.
So, Barcelos versus Hollabaugh. I got Hollabaugh. Decision. Gonna stay away. What do you think this one
I
goes
actually
down
think
for?
this fight's going to be a quick banger. I have Hollabaugh KO round 2. I do see that it can happen in round 1. I'm going to stay away from it.
Yeah. Yes.
I do think it's just going to happen. I think both guys are going to blow their wad, so to speak, and just come in too much too soon. No patience. And it just be they're both going to remember their last KO fights. And yeah, I think this could be a quick one, maybe something exciting, because up until this point, it's going to be a snoozer. But I don't feel super confident in that because I don't know enough about these guys. So, Hollabaugh, KO round 2.
8,800 for Hollabaugh against the debuting 7,400 Barcelos. Ugh. On the betting lines as well. Real quick, we're telling you guys stay away a lot of these things, but I think
we're saying don't bet this week.
We're saying don't bet, but I think that's an advanced play as well. I think that there is value in that. Like, hey, save your money for a card that's a little more set. Even though there is fights coming up that I do think that there is a ton of money to be made on. Balaha minus 200 against Barcelos, plus 170 as well. So a lot of people see Hollabaugh coming through on that. We're seeing it closer than it is. On to, though, two guys we might know a little bit more. We have Justin Scoggins at 125 pounds against the cousin of Habib Nurmagomedov. I said Nurmagomedov. You see what I did there?
You did a nice job.
Thank you very much. Against...
I said it.
So Scoggins, the tank, or the low fight IQ in the UFC, coming off a 2-fight losing streak. Scoggins is the most amount of potential who has not come through, giving up fights that he's winning constantly, putting his head into bad positions, and just really losing when he should be winning a whole lot more. Striking-wise, we love the karate stylist, really has a beautiful jab, good strike IQ, but later in the fights, all of a sudden takes down guys that would only have chances of beating him on the ground and gets submitted over and over again. Nurmagomedov is coming in with a shit ton of hype, and it's probably because his cousin is Habib himself. We already managed to mention him a few times on the show as we got here. Everyone else is thinking the same thing. The Russian 26-year-old.
I wonder if they're really cousins or if they just have the same last name.
It's the Gracie thing. Same as the Gracie thing. You got Gracie behind your name right now. Well, especially back in the 2000s, everyone was like, whoa, this guy's going to be off the chain on the ground. And that is not necessarily the point. And I'd say that that's the case here. Said...
Well said.
Likes to do a lot of what his cousin likes to do in there. Get the takedowns, ground and pound, use that Dagestani Russian style. 11-1. He definitely takes it to the ground as soon as he can. Striking wise,
His nickname should be Say My Name.
that's a good one.
It is kind of good. Say my name, say my name.
So, Norgamo said, dang it, I don't know why I'm getting all
Because you
tripped
read
up on
it.
it.
It's
Yeah.
fine if you just
If
look
I
up
did, it just goes, right?
Nurmagomedov.
So, as I said, the wrestling is where he likes to make his money, but he throws spinning kicks off of the break at times. Is a little flashy in there, and I think it's because comfortable with that ground game, likes to try to trap that wrist, uses a lot of that wrist control, and that puts a lot of people in trouble. Scoggins is one of these guys that can be exploited on the ground. We know the avenue for this fight. Scoggins keeps it striking, he wins this fight. He goes to the ground, he loses it. And we've seen over and over again that Scoggins will go to the ground and be like, I don't know why I did that. I just thought I could prove to other people. And everyone's like, don't prove it, win the fight. Ugh. I don't know what to do here, simply because the hype of the name is getting to me a little bit, but I am going with Scoggins' decision. Just the caliber of fighter he's had is so much better, so much more advanced. He's the most untrustworthy play. I'm going to play it very limited. Very, very limited. But if there's a knockout in this fight, I see Scoggins getting the knockout. If there's a submission, I don't see a submission, because Said doesn't really submit you. He's more of that position you and just land strikes and tell. Just like his cousin. Exact same. So, I got decision,
like
30 split. Scoggins.
I think Nurmagomedov is going to submit him in round 1. I think it's a setup fight so the UFC can make money off the last name, because so many people tuning in to different fights going on won't do any research, and they'll be like, oh, that Russian's fighting. Let me tune in. Oh, that doesn't look like... They won't even know. They'll be like, bearded Russian. Okay. It's for like the casual fan. That's what the cousin will be for.
Totally.
It's really just a lack of faith in Scoggins. I think he'll get his walking papers after this fight, and I think it's just to build a name off a legit... he was a guy that's been in the UFC for a while, so it's not like you can say, oh, they let Nurmagomedov have a can. So, I think it's submission round 1, and it's a set-up fight.
Wow. So, the favorite...
The one thing, if you can put money on it... Nurmagomedov will miss weight and lose 20% of 20 or 30, depending on where they're at and what the commission says. 100% he'll miss weight. I'm just positive about it, and I think it's really weird he's fighting in this weight class.
Interesting. The favorite, minus 165, Nurmagomedov, against Scoggins, plus 145, also on DraftKings, debuter, 8,500, against the 7-7 Scoggins. As I was saying, I think the hype's coming in here. This is definitely a humongous step up. Going with the under here. I'm not going to play it hard, though, because, as you were saying, can't trust Scoggins to save his life at all. In betting-wise, I think Dogger Pass situation. Dogger Pass, definitely. On to...
Agree.
The next bout we have... Darren, the Damage Elkins, at 145 pounds against Alexander Volkanovski. Poor Darren Elkins is not getting any mother-freaking breaks. 24-5. The Damage lives up to his name at 34 years old. Definitely I'm waiting for all that damage to accumulate and him to not be able to take those shots anymore. As of lately, he hasn't. He's been able to take it, come through, and get humongous wins. Volkanovski being 17-1, definitely a high prospect, coming in with that rugby power. Also just being an extreme little athlete, has a great gas tank, tons of power, submission-wise is okay, has good takedown defense, and is really a top prospect at the 145-pound division. A lot of people talking title contender for this young man, and this is definitely his biggest step up. By far, Darren Elkins is not a walkthrough at all whatsoever. But unfortunately for Elkins, I do see just the younger fighter, the damage accumulating all the way around. The wrestling, though, I am going to give to Elkins coming out of that alpha male camp. They can put a game plan together. It can be wrestling advantageous. Volkanovski is not as good of a striker than most guys out there, but better than Elkins. And the thing that I don't like is Elkins is willing to just take some of those shots to be able to finish it in the third round via submission. I just see Volkanovski hitting a lot harder than a lot of other guys, and it's the power advantage there. I'm going to go Volkanovski decision. I think a lot of people see this finishing. The Damage wears it well. He's not going to quit in there. I'm giving him a little more respect. I don't think the finish comes. I got Volkanovski heavy favorite in this one. I am going to play Volkanovski, even though he is one of the higher guys, 9,200 against the 7,000 Elkins. I think the value play, though, might be Elkins, the Damage in there.
I think the value play is Elkins all day.
Yep.
We know he is going to... And if he's with a smart camp, he's a smart fighter with a lot more ring IQ than his tattoo would make him seem like he has. And I do believe he can outsmart Volkanovski. I think the caliber
I can
of
see
the
that.
guys he's gone against is better. I have Volkanovski decision. But I really like Darren Elkins everywhere here. I feel like I'm being swayed, and I always go against Darren Elkins.
Yeah, right.
I know, it's like this is the time that I feel like weird about it.
This is way closer than people have it. Volkanovski minus 345 against the plus 285. Darren Elkins, huge underdog, almost 4-1. I think it's a dog or pass situation. We're both going decision, and a lot of people at those odds see a finish coming around.
I almost could go easily Darren Elkins. I want to see what they look like at weigh-ins. To me, this should be like an 8-8-2, 8-8. It's just too
I could
close.
see 8-4 Volkanovski because I do see the decision sided going to Volkanovski due to just the pay. Oh, maybe not.
In my opinion, Volkanovski very similar
It's gotta be
as Khabib. I know Khabib of the last 3, fights, but it's a padded resume in my opinion.
Yes, it is.
Whereas the damage has been through it. Through it.
Elite fighters.
And the fact that he submitted Michael Johnson in his last fight, it is smart. That is just like blaring in my head that he's not going to go in there and knock somebody out just to let his ego say he knocked him out. I think we're seeing a different Darren Elkins. I think we're seeing a different alpha male, a smarter alpha male.
Yep.
It's a nerve-wracking one. I think dog or pass all day, and I could easily just go with the underdog Darren Elkins and feel as confident about.
I think we have the wager gauger that doesn't always come up for a reason, but this is definitely one of those plays. How do you feel about this fight, though, being the co-main event on the preliminary fight pass? This has main event, co-main event written all over it. With a guy like Elkins against Volkan. This is fight of the night.
In my
Easy.
opinion, this is the UFC saying F you to Fox because they're done with that deal in a couple months.
Yeah, they're just trying to get, they're just pushing out cards.
Filling in holes. So they're like,
So
no,
they put
we
it on
keep
fight
this.
pass.
We
Yeah.
keep this.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I totally see
and
that.
then they
Great
get
call.
to keep probably all the recordings of it and everything to, whatever.
Yeah.
So,
That's a totally great call. But we're really highlighting as well on these fights.
Now I feel totally flipped, even though we had the whole boring beginning. Now there's a couple good fights right here in the middle.
Yes, now
there's some good fights.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Stay away
miss
from
the
all those early
beginning.
fights.
If you have to miss something, miss the beginning.
And the fights to make money on are this Darren Elkins or Volkanovski decision. I feel like that prop bet's going to probably be a little bit higher because a lot of people see the finish coming and you can
That's a
make
good
money
idea.
on the prop. Make money on the prop. We're really highlighting, though, these little guys, and I think it holds true to your conspiracy of they're saying F you to Fox, and they're just like, oh, all these lightweight fights, let's put them on here. All these split decision fights, let's put them on motherfucking Fox. Let's get these not on our pay-per-views.
Well, the early ones, those are on the Fox?
No, I believe those are all
Those are all Fight Pass.
They're
Yeah, why they
preliminary
should have
Fight
gave
Pass.
those to Fox.
Fox.
But you know what? They're trying to use the Fox audience to get a couple more fans before
Which
it's
you
over.
do need some of those knockouts. So we have another 135-pound bout, bantamweights, Eddie Wineland
This could be
versus
the fight of
Alejandro
the night.
Perez. Really, I think this got dirty-ass split because if you know anything at LaTB, Alejandro Perez is one of the easiest splitters in the game. He's won more fights that he should have lost than anybody. Being knocked down 3 times versus Sohampton. Being taken down multiple fights. He pokes you in the eye, kicks you in the dick. If there's a way that Perez finds a way to win, he tries it. He's one of those competitors. If he ain't cheating, he ain't trying. And it works out for the bettor's favorite.
Does he go to AKA?
He does not, but he could do some part-time there. He could be training with DC on the side. But a winner's a winner. A winner is a winner, and Eddie Wineland coming off of a loss 23-12 to the 20-6 fighter. Wineland has had a resurgence as of late in his career, having a 2-fight winning streak, but last losing to Dotson. A lot of people thought Eddie Wineland's chin was gone after that Eduardo knockout. That was one of the biggest upsets of the year. But Wineland's come back, had his mouth wired shut, and took every punch from Dotson, who is arguably one of the hardest hitters in the division. Perez, don't have to worry about that. He kills you by 1,000 cuts. goes in there, jabs you up.
I think Dotson was a hard hitter at 125, not 135, though.
I think Dotson's a harder hitter than Perez any day of the week, regardless of weight class.
I don't think he fights like that. He fights like Holly Holm fights.
Dotson?
Mm.
But he still lands. Either way, Perez isn't going to finish you anytime soon. I think it's just I'm fading Wineland a little bit more. We've just seen him slow down. He has 1 and 2 bunch combinations and just kind of holds on to fights in there where Perez kind of wins fights even though he shouldn't. See a dirty-ass mother trunking split on this one, but I'm going with the Perez-Weasley fight on here. I'm going to stay away from this on a lot of my cards. I need to see a decision all day. Who are you going?
I like Alejandro Perez. I feel like he's finally coming into his own. Like, it's like he's a Rubik's Cube, and it was just shabby at first, but now you can start seeing the colors come to each side of it. It's not perfect yet. Mm-hmm. He's got another year before he hits his sweet spot, but I really like everything I'm seeing from him. Where Weidland, I feel the opposite of that. Like, okay, he's past his sweet spot. I know for sure. And the fights that he's losing now aren't great. So I really just think Perez can find his chin at the end of round 3. Not because Dotson doesn't have power, because he showed it at 125. I just think he is not fighting that way anymore. The John Dotson we see of late is a point fighter, and that is part of the reason that Weidland even stayed alive in there, is because John Dotson didn't use his power. So I just think Weidland gets caught somewhere at the end. Maybe he's desperate and fighting in a wrong weight class. He should be at 145, and so it just makes him a little more KO susceptible. All opinion, I'll probably stay away too, but I got Perez KO round 3.
So, at 9,100 for Alejandro Perez, are you going to end up putting him on your DraftKings lines?
Hell to the niz. But I feel like other people must see what I see. I didn't, I don't have the numbers in front of me.
7,100 for Wineland. Perez being a minus 200, 2-1 favorite against the plus 170 Wineland. I think it's a closer fight than people have it, in my point of view. And that's what we love about this. We got our own. So, on to the ladies. We've had a lot of lady fights as well. Is this our third or fourth one? Lady fights!
This could be the biggest names on the card?
I was about to say, as far as the ladies' bouts, this is definitely the most seniority out of all of them. And that's not just because they're a little bit older. It's because they definitely have been title contenders or up in that range. We have, and this does start the main event on FS1 as well. There's going to be those televised cards on DraftKings. We don't really highlight those, and I feel like that's where I make most of my money, when it's really cut down, because we don't get some of those random finishes early on in the night. This is going to be a 135-pound bout. We have Alpha Cat Zingano against Marianne the Belzine
Balls.
Coming out of Rhino Elite. Marion Renault, 9-3, is definitely coming off of a 4-fight winning streak. There was a drug suspension in there against Betch Kohea, but at the very least, 2-fight winning streak, TKOing and submitting Sarah the Can McMahon. Kat Zingano, being 9-3, gotten her only 3 losses ever, all in a row, against Caitlin Vieira, split decision 4 months ago, but prior to that, losing the Juliana Pena decision, and also Ronda Rousey via armbar. Alpha Cat, one of the biggest struggles that you will hear of. Definitely look into her background, and she's come through a lot. Definitely a dime piece. She is, dare I say, a 36-year-old mom that I would like to watch on Instagram.
You think she's a MILF?
All day,
Alpha
every day.
Cat?
Give me Alpha Cat. Definitely starting to look a little bit more mature, but in my age, I'd like to, the older the berry, the sweeter the juice sometimes. Marion Renault.
She's cute, Alpha Cat. She has chiclet teeth.
She also got them, she's got those PVZ implants before they were cool.
Yeah, I don't love that.
Yeah, she's got more of those harder.
That's probably why I'm not into her. I don't like fake boobs on women. I prefer El Natural. El Natural. Yeah, and yeah.
So Renault actually
big
being the
old
40-year-old
hard boobs. That's the bummer of Misha Tate for me.
But that's where you get them submissions. We talked about it before.
We did. Yeah, you got to get the silicone breasts, let them harden up, and then you.
Boom, right on that jugular vein. Right on that jugular vein. You done. Marion Renault, though, being the older
Try it
fighter
out.
at 41 years old, she's definitely the ground specialist. We know what Alpha Cat likes to do in here. Have takedowns, be on top off of her back. She is not that good at all. Definitely in the clinch is where Alpha Cat makes most of her money, but has really gotten away from that in her last 3 fights. She would really use her knees devastatingly and finish a lot of fights. Misha Tate being one of the fight of the years as well in there. Marion Renault, though, has really put a game plan together, and it's not fan-friendly. It is take you down and beat you on the ground like she does. She is a black belt for a reason, and Alpha Cat's takedown defense is not good. Renault has okay takedowns. Legitimately, she actually runs through her takedowns and chain wrestles them together until she gets there. She has a game plan, sticks to it. I'm going to go with Renault, but I absolutely hate this fight. I see decision written all over it. It is the most exciting ladies fight, but this is a coin flip all day. I actually have Renault a decided favorite, and I see that it's -110, the epitome of a coin flip. I think Renault should be a decided favorite, probably a 2-1 in my eyes. I just see the game plan being there, and Alpha Cat's direct path to losing is on the ground, and that's how people have been beating her. Who do you end up having in this one?
I hate to say it, but I have Renault finishing this fight. I really like Alpha Cat. I love her personality. I need her in some regard. I just think she's Alpha Cat plays for keeps, and she goes out there fast. She goes out there hard. She wants to take your head off, and if she can't do that in the first few minutes of the fight, it becomes less and less that she's going to. Marion Renault is somebody who I have wanted to count her out for like the last 4 years.
Agreed.
And she keeps putting together different game plans and learning more and coming out with better and better technique. She isn't Sarah McMahon. She is doing the opposite. It's like I gave Sarah McMahon all this clout and I keep waiting for her to burst and show all this growth, but Renault's been the one to actually show me that. So I got to go with Marion. I just trust her more, and if I were a betting person, I'd put money on her, and I am. So it's weird. It's a weird one to be like, I'm probably going to have Renault on a few cards.
I'm actually going to probably have a Renault a lot. 8,100 against 8,100. This is a coin flip all over.
To fill in holes.
I agree. We both see the finish coming. I was going to say dirty split, but I think you're talking me into a third round submission for Renault. I do see, though, this is a decided one-way fight. For these kind of odds, this is one of those that I'm going to put up some bets on for sure, because see kind of an easy win coming around. At 145 pounds, though, we have a long time coming, Chad Mendes. Finally, almost 3 years away due to a drug suspension, coming in against Miles Jury, who has had a 2-fight winning streak over 6 months ago. He beat Rick Glenn in a decision, 17-2. Miles Jury was a top prospect who really has only lost 2 fights against Oliveira and Donald Cerrone. People have kind of written off, but it's the injuries. Miles Jury's constantly out. He has big breaks because he has devastating injuries. And Chad Mendes, being an alpha male guy, only lost in the UFC, 17-4. We know what we're getting in here with Chad Mendes, alpha male wrestler, heavy overhand right, good level changes, heavy duty cardio, but was at the EPO and steroids. Yeah, 2 weeks, it doesn't matter how much EPO you got, you're going to run out of gas. Miles Jury, I was seeing interesting by the numbers, throwing out wonderful stats. If you aren't following, you definitely should be. Showing Miles Jury being the second highest strike defense in this card all weekend long. He definitely knows how to move his head in there, has really crisp, good striking on the ground, is sneaky as hell. He can get hurt, though. Miles Jury, sometimes when a couple of those shots starts to add up, he tends to be a little bit gun shy, and I think that's where Cerrone and Oliveira, I don't care who it is, he can submit anybody if his head's in there, but Cerrone put the game plan in there to show you how to kind of beat him up to beat him, and this is a tough battle all the way around. I don't think Jury gets this to the ground, and on the ground, that alpha male style, I think the ground game will be neutralized by a Chad Mendes. I see this turning into a kickboxing, wrestling in reverse for Mendes. I do think the output is slightly higher for Mendes, but he gets hit a little bit more, and Jury's hard to hit. I got a dirty-ass split income here, but I got Mendes coming in with a full training camp and getting maybe maybe 2 takedowns the whole fight at the end of each round and winning it that way. Who do you have this fight?
I have Chad Mendes as well, and it's kind of an easy decision for me to make. Miles Jury, it's desperation for him to fight at this weight class, in my opinion, where Chad Mendes is more of a natural, huge 145er. Even though he's only 5'6", he's like built like a tree trunk.
Yeah.
And I also think he's training with, you know, the ex-champion for all intents and purposes, and Cody Garbrandt and guys like that. I know that Miles Jury is at Alliance. I just think the guys that the missing of, like, you know, we don't like a guy that's been out for 3 years, but this has been a guy at an elite camp, still training. Body's looked great the entire time. He never got like super round or fat or whatever. I got to think he's doing everything right, and I'm going to go with Chad Mendes decision. And he can't afford to lose this fight.
I agree. At minus 185 for Chad Mendes, almost 2-1 odds. It's a little steep for me. And 8,800 or 8,900 on DraftKings to the 7,300 Miles Journey. It's a little bit, especially for a decision. Did you have a decision? Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not going to end up putting that on DraftKings too much or betting that as well. There is avenues in the submission-wise against Mendes, but it's going to be hard charging to get there. On to the biggest guy, some of the biggest guys on the card. At 170 pounds, we have Nico Price against Randy, the Rude Boy, Brown. Nico, the hybrid, definitely longtime prospect that here the Bean has really been on. I've picked Price in a lot of underdog spots, and he's really cashed through for me. 28-year-old fighter has been coming out of that American Top Team Syndicate. Randy Brown, coming out of New Jersey, definitely 10-2, only lost in the UFC. His last marquee win against Mickey Gall, the submission guy. Randy Brown has really grown in a lot of his fights. Both of these young prospects at 28 years old have many fights along the way, and I think this is perfectly timed. 11-1 Nico Price goes to the ground and submits you. He has stricken, he's knocked a few guys out striking, but he really took a lot of damage in those strikes, and that's why I put a lot of money on Nico Price, is because he has a good gas tank and he can take a shit ton of damage, but he does take a lot of damage. That does add up. I believe his only loss in there is to Luque via submission, and that submission happened because the strikes added up, and Nico Price was all sorts of hurt before that. And Randy Brown can do that. Randy Brown doesn't have tons of power, but he is a really good striker with way better takedown defense than people give him credit for. And against people on the ground, Randy Brown really can stifle good submission game. He showed it against Gall, but Gall is really not that proven, so you got to take that for what it's worth. This is a really fun fight. I could see it being a fight of the night potentially, but I do give the striking odds by far to Randy Brown by leaps and bounds. If this goes to the ground, it's another game, but I like Randy Brown's submission defense. I'm going to have to pick against my boy, unfortunately, here, and I'm going with the Rude Boy. Decision. This is a hell of a close fight. I can't wait for it. This is one of my, keep an eye out, both of these guys, prospects.
You always love Randy Brown. I always love Nico Price, and I'm going to stick with him again this time. There is no way Randy Brown can put together even close the game plan of a Vicente Luque, and I just also think that Nico Price is better than Belal Muhammad. So I know the decision thing, I can already lock that up for him. I like Belal Muhammad a lot. I also think he's a ton better than Mickey Gall. So if you're Randy Brown and you go in there with any kind of comfort that, I'm comfortable with the submission guy, I think Nico Price is better than Mickey Gall there all day. I think Mickey Gall's a little overrated. And the other thing, Nico Price has better hands. Once you're nervous about getting submitted, so you forget about his hands. But I have to think that Alan Jouban picks apart Randy Brown on the feet. And I was surprised that Nico Price clipped him and knocked him cold out. I have Price submission. I don't think it's going to be I think he's going to hurt him on the feet and then go for the submission. And I have it happening beginning of round 3, maybe end of round 2. I don't like Randy Brown's cardio either. But this is going to be a great fight. I like it everywhere.
This is totally going to be a great fight. 8,300 for Randy Brown. against the 7,900 Nico Price. Real quick, I have I've picked Mike Price 4 out of his 5 fights in the UFC.
Nico.
And I've got it right. And I've got him, yeah.
Are you 100%?
I am not. The only fight I picked wrong on him was Brandon Thatch. I thought Brandon Thatch would beat him, but I saw the Luque fight. Randy Brown, I feel like I bid against. I bid Mickey Gall against Randy Brown. I don't like Randy Brown.
Huh.
Yeah, definitely a fun one. The favorite, though, real quick on that one is Randy Brown minus 130 against the plus 110 Nico Price. You got the underdog on that all the way around. I like it. I think it's a close fight. Super close fight. That's definitely one that I'm going to pick. I think I could pick either one of those guys because I do see a finish could come for either one, and I could sporadically... I'm not going to go heavy-sided on my DraftKings either one side of them.
I've only bet Randy Brown one time.
Ooh, definitely a Randy Brown hater. Definitely.
So take that for what it is.
So, we have another 70-pound bout with Sage, the Super Saiyan Northcutt, against Zach Otto, the Canadian heartthrob. 16-5 Otto comes in against the 10-2.
I
Sage
have the
Northcutt.
Barbarian.
Oh, yeah, I was just, I don't know why it came to mind, so that's what I...
Oh, because Andy, is he even from... He's from the United States, isn't he? That'd be funny.
I saw his picture and
But
I
that
just
would
made
be
it
funny
up.
if he was from the United States and he was the Canadian heartthrob as his nickname.
Elias Nearthrow was like, what? What? So, Sage, coming in as a slight favorite, definitely only lost in the UFC against Otto 16-5. The 31-year-old veteran is a grinder. The Barbarian is good all the way around. Master, or jack of all trades, master of none. Has okay power, okay gas tank, and the spots that we've seen Sage Northcutt definitely falter with is that gas tank. If he can't get you out of there early, he suffers. He's been at Alpha Male and been training around for a while. Beating Gowdy and Quinones in 2 decisions should tell you everything you need to know. Those guys, I feel like, are barely holding on to contracts themselves. Zach Otto coming off of a win to Mike Pyle definitely looks a little bit better, but Mike Pyle's also on a big decline. Jin Liang TKO doesn't look that good all of a sudden. Kumimoto as well as a win. I think these are rightly so matched up, and the UFC obviously is pushing Sage, so they're giving him fights he can win against Otto's limited striking. It's all about the gas tank, and I think Otto can put it together enough to make this a dirty-ass split. With that being said, I'm going to end up going with Super Sage. I'm going to stay away from this one all night long. I don't think this has a finish anywhere. The gas tank ends up running out at the end of first for Sage, and then he holds out for 2 more rounds. Maybe lands a devastating strike and gets Otto out of there, but I'm going to go decision Sage right now. Staying away from it. How do you feel it goes down?
I have Sage knockout round 2, and I don't see Sage can win by decision. I only see him winning by a knockout. I think if it goes to decision, Zach wins all day just for pure experience. He's just been in there for too long, too many times, and
totally.
They're trying everything in their power to give Sage the right matches. Mm-hmm. Even if you look at number 68 versus 65, you never see the guys that close. You see guy 68 versus 40.
Yes,
you know,
100%.
you see these big leaps being made, but they're trying everything in their power to really inch in some names that Sage can win here. All right, Sage, you've been at Alpha Male long enough. Let's see something here. This is it for me. I'm picking Sage KO round 2. If he doesn't win here, he is stunted. Going to the UFC as early as he did has become a detriment for him, and he should have gone to a different organization. This is the fight. This is it for me. I am, wow. And I'm never I'll be over it. I'm over him being there. I'm starting to feel like he's a CM Punk. He's there just for the
muscles.
Yeah, he's like a dessert bar or something. Fun to look at, or he's a young kid. Look, everyone over here. But
he'll do some flipping shit if he wins.
Yeah. So will Mighty Mouse, and I'd rather watch that. So
Sage Northcutt
KO round 2. Take that for what it is.
8,400 on DraftKings against the 7,800 for Otto. Minus 140 favorite for Sage as well. Ooh, yeah, again, super, super tentative. Going back to the featherweights, we have Dennis Bermudez against Rick Glenn. Bermudez coming off of a 16-8 record, gotten a 3-fight losing streak. This is a make it or break it for the former contender against Rick Glenn, who's 20-5, coming off of a loss to Miles Jury 6 months ago. Prior to that, beating Gavin Tucker and Felipe Nover, but also losing to Evan Dunham in a decision as well. Glenn, being the younger fighter at 29 years old to the 31, Bermudez, if there was a setup fight with Sage Northcutt, Dennis Bermudez has a setup fight to win in this one. Rick Glenn wants to use his wrestling and grittiness to win fights, and that's Dennis Bermudez. Uses his wrestling and grittiness to win fights. He's come up short as of late to Andre Feely. Split decision. Where to get
He uses grittiness to win fights, which hadn't happened in about 3 years.
Yeah.
But that grittiness is there.
Well, that's what he does. And it's just, so what do? I see this being a dirty-ass split. Bermudez has the takedowns, not the power so much, and he gets hurt in every fight, but Rick Glenn doesn't have the power to hurt you at all. I think Bermudez can stay on all of Glenn's decisions, and if anything, Glenn is a bit testy on the chin as well. If Bermudez finishes this, do not think Bermudez is back by any means whatsoever. But I see a dirty-ass split. I got Bermudez eking it out 29-28. I'm staying away from this one as well, siding with a favorite in the co-main event of the night. Who do you have?
I got Bermudez as well. I'm going to stay away from it as well. I think it's going to be a boring.
Right?
And this is Dennis Bermudez. He wins or gets his walking papers.
Totally, 100%.
And so they're like, look, they got all these new guys coming in from the Contender Series. I feel fight nights like this are making cuts. They're taking almost two guys that are almost the exact same type of fighter,
Totally.
the exact same fill-in fighter. They're like, we do not need both of you. And snip. So, of the snip, I think Bermudez stays. Rick Glenn goes.
So, Bermudez being 9,000 on DraftKings against the
Nay worth it.
7,200 for Glenn. I agree. For a decision, that makes no sense. Minus 250 favorite, Dennis Bermudez. A lot of people see what we see. Maybe that back against the wall might get him to pull the trigger a little bit more in there. On to the heaviest fight of the night. We have the heavyweights coming through. Finally, we're going to get the big boys. And this is the UFC trying to get a finish in there, trying to guarantee that somebody's going night-night. We have the former belt holder, Junior Dos Santos, not being the same after getting beat in there multiple times against heavy contenders, against a debuting Bagiev Ivanov. The debuting 16-1 Bulgarian fighter is debuting a main event at the heavyweight division. If your theory of UFC doesn't care about Fox doesn't hold up right here, I don't know what does. Like, this is 100% debuting fighter. Did we have a fallout? Is this a short notice fight? Did that end up happening? Because this is
I can't even remember ever seeing this. I thought it was supposed to be...
Right? It was somebody else.
I thought it was a Russian fighter that he was going to fight.
That is a Russia. Bulgarian, Russia, and pretty close.
No, but I thought it was a different guy he was supposed to fight. Maybe I'm crazy.
I'm looking it up right now, seeing where they fell out. Oh, wait. Nope. James Felder versus Vic fell off of this because Vic went to go fight.
Kevin Lee? No.
No.
Justin Gaethje. Vic's going to go fight Justin Gaethje.
Yes, but that was the only fight that fell off of this card.
Huh. Wow, these people are so sad.
So sad.
It's an okay card, but kind of disappointing overall.
So, the former title contender is definitely going to be the heavy favorite for a reason. The debuting fighter tends to get some knockouts in there, usually submission decisions. The Russian likes to go in there, swing that overhand right, super heavy. He'll get takedowns in there when he needs to, but definitely the caliber of fighters are Bellator. He lost to Alex Volkov, who is in the UFC via submission and he was a slight favorite there. has come back to beat Copeland, is another guy who used to be in the UFC, and Shawn Jordan via TKO. The Russian fighter does have a heavy right hand, okay gas tank, and won't get submitted, but you don't have to worry about
fight.
that. Oh yeah, they're trying to get a finish in this fight. Junior Dos Santos tends to be a boxer, has good takedown defense, okay elbows, okay gas tank, and his chin has definitely been the most susceptible thing in there as of late, but really put together a couple fights now. And coming off of a loss to Stipe Miocic, TKO round number 1, a lot of people think that chin is done. And Ivanov has the power to be able to shut his lights off. I'm going to go with Dos Santos just because of the experience and the level. I could see a knockout in here. I'm not going to play this too heavy, but I do have Dos Santos being able to stay away from all those looping limited strikes, because Ivanov is not a striker. He throws 1 and 2 punch combinations, but again, those guys are such low level that he can land that one punch. Dos Santos moves his head most of the time, but if he gets clipped once, he does go night-night very quickly at this point of his career. I'm super tentative on this. I do have the favorite, but I don't think he should be that heavy of a favorite with Dos Santos. Who do you have, or Dos Santos, I mean. Who do you have in this one?
I really only think Dos Santos is fighting any longer because of the weight class that he's in. It's not because I think the other guy is great. I just do think he ends up finding that chin, and Ivanov, I have KO round 1. I'm a little nervous about it.
So you have the underdog.
Yeah,
Ivanov.
Yeah, I think he's going to knock out Dos Santos.
I could see that. I could totally see that.
I just think he's short enough. I kind of see it going very similar to the Stipe DC fight.
It takes one. It's coming off of his last fight.
Sometimes those shorter guys coming up at the taller guys, I think it hits their chin weird. They have weird angles. Everyone's always worried about the smaller guy. The smaller guy's used to fighting up. The smaller guy's used to punching upward, and you get more power coming, when you bend your whole body and go up at something. I don't know. Whatever.
So, a year and 1 month off of that Miocic knockout, we like to have the guys wait at least a year, and we're like, okay, their chin might be good. But again, as I was saying before, everybody knows that Dos Santos was not the same after that Cain Velasquez fight. It's the second one. Everyone has said it.
Sometimes guys are just chinny. It has nothing to do with the amount of time they take off. Sometimes guys are
kind of
just
what
chinny,
I'm alluding
and that's how
to
I
as
feel
well.
about Dos Santos.
You might be swaying me because I do see the value. I do have Dos Santos right now. Ooh,
In
I
a
got
5-round fight, if it gets past the second round, Dos Santos is going to manhandle him for 5 rounds and get so many points.
That's kind of what I'm seeing.
So it's like Ivanov gets tons of points because he knocks him out in round 1, but if that really doesn't come to fruition, I do think Dos Santos can, just grind it for those first 3 rounds and then drag his fat body into deep water.
Minus 165 favorite for Dos Santos.
That's about right to me.
I think that's about right as well, but 8,700 against the 7,500, I think Ivanov might be the play there, because if he does win, it's probably TKO, and for 7.5, he's going to cash out. I'm not picking him though, so I'm not going to play that heavy.
I wouldn't go huge on DraftKings this week. I'm going to save it for 227. What is it? 227 coming up next? What did we have?
We're already looking past this fight card.
I am a little.
Do we have an underdog? I feel like we had a couple in there that we both were like, woo.
Mm-hmm.
Who we did? Let me see.
Is Renault? No, Renault's not the underdog. She's slight favorite.
Slight favorite. I'm looking up as what's going to be next after that. Who else was in there? Renault wasn't, but we did have not Elkins. What? Perez? No, he was the favorite as well. Was it someone early in the night?
I don't know. We agreed on any underdogs.
We might have not. There was one, I thought.
We agree sometimes that everything you're saying, dog or pass, kind of things, but sometimes we don't both have the underdog to win.
The next fight night that's going to come up is going to be July 22nd, and it's a fight night 134. Anthony Smith versus Shogun Hua. And that's going to be on Fox. That's the next one, so not a pay-per-view. Is
Mendes the underdog?
I don't think so. I'm looking at this past other card, which does look like there's going to be some fun ones on that one. I don't think Mendes... he was the... No.
I don't know. Maybe we don't have one this week.
Maybe
It's
we
a
don't.
weird card.
We're gonna end up waiting to the weigh-ins to get the last little bits in there.
So, thanks for checking us out. Hopefully this episode gets to you a little early in your day. So if you're one of our over the pond listeners, you can have it for your, I don't know, maybe after bar evening or something. I don't even know what time it is there right now. Maybe you get off work and you have a new episode or something.
Boom, taking the trolley back home.
We love you. Thanks for listening, and we will see you Sunday.
Lesbo and The Bean!
Thanks for listening to LaTB. For all things Lesbo and The Bean, head over to lesboandthebean.com or follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.